Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you've become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama strategy session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama strategy session. Your kids are playing quietly. You decide to make an important phone call that needs your attention. Or maybe you've been waiting for an important phone call. You get on the phone, and 2 minutes later, a kiddo comes screaming at the door, saying that their sibling did or said something that really, really upset them, or somebody got hurt. You feel your blood boil, and you're starting to think. Your thoughts are like, come on, seriously? Every single time. I cannot have a minute to myself. Why are you doing this to me? You won't let me do this. You're feeling so triggered. You're feeling angry. And then you're feeling furious. So you just close the door on their face and you lock it. They're banging on the door. You go to the bathroom door. You close the door, hoping that the house does not get burned down while you finish this call. You can barely focus on the call, so you decide to call back or you reschedule it. Or once you're done, you come out fuming at the seams, screaming at your kids that they never let you do anything important. Why are you always interrupting me? You never let me have a phone call. What's wrong with you guys? I really needed to make this phone call. So you throw out threats. You send your kids to your room, they're crying, you're just feeling pissed off, and then you feel so guilty about the way that you handled it. If you relate to this episode is for you, and we will be talking about how to handle interruptions by your kids and how to handle it in a way that you are proud of, that you can reflect and look back at, and be happy with the way that you handled the circumstance. If you listened to last week's episode 230, and it was about the trigger when you're rushing out the door or when you're running late and your kids are just not cooperating, you heard that I have two big triggers. One of them is time pressure. I feel really triggered when there's time pressure, starting to feel really frustrated and feeling agitated. And my other big trigger is being interrupted. When I'm doing something that I'm trying to focus on that requires my brain energy, because I am pretty sure I might have some signs of ADHD, but I just cannot focus on multiple things at once. I cannot do too well. I have a friend that she is also a podcaster, and she has got 3 boys, and she's like, you know what? I work better when they're home with me all day. Like, I work better with chaos. I grew up in chaos. I work better with chaos, and I just cannot. I cannot do focused work. I cannot do anything focused, like fill out an application or something like that. I will make mistakes. I will mess up. And so for me, I need focused time. And so I wanted to share with you this scenario because it has happened to me, because I've experienced this multiple times and I hated the way that I was handling it. And I have these 2 big triggers that I really had to work through. And one of them is time pressure, running out the door, being late, which still happens, right? And I taught you in that episode what you can do proactively, what you can do in the moment. And the other one is interruptions. And I literally had to get coached on this myself because I just could not figure this out. It just kept being a trigger in my mind over and over again. And I was already teaching on this topic of anger management. And this was a trigger that I just could not get past by. And my coach, my mindset coach, Tessa, she coached me on this topic because I just could not get past it. It was just that hard for me. So my scenario often happens with my kids when they are at home and I sit down to do focused work. Like right here, working, focused work for you, creating content. And for example, tomorrow we have a hurricane coming towards Florida. It's a southwest, so it's not going to be hitting us directly, but there's still going to be storms in our area, and the school got canceled for the next 3 days, which means the kids are home. Or in the summertime, that's the reason I didn't do much work in the summertime, because my kids were home all the time with me, and I wanted to be more available for them. And let's say this week, I already have calls planned. I have other things on my schedule planned during quiet time for my daughter, and my boys will be home. And this is a thing that for me, like I will sit down to write out an email. I will sit down to outline a podcast. I will sit down to do some content and create stuff for you about how to be a patient and calm mom. And here my kids are coming in and interrupting me and needing me for some reason or another. And I feel triggered. And I'm like, isn't this ironic? And I feel so triggered. And those would be the scenarios where I would not handle it well. And I'll give you a few other examples that might resonate with you, but I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's say you're taking a bath, right? You're doing something for yourself to relax and your kids need you, right? And then, or you have a friend that stopped by and you're talking with a friend and you have a toddler that constantly keeps having a fit, or kids that keep coming that kept having arguments with each other. Or you are on a phone call with a friend, or maybe you are on trying to make a doctor's appointment or something else, right? We have important phone calls that come up. Maybe you're filling out an application online, something that you need to fill out that is time sensitive and needs to be done sooner than later. Maybe it's you're sitting down and you're having your morning time and you're reading the Bible and your kid's waking up earlier and they're coming to you and they want you or need you for some reason. Or maybe you're talking with your husband and you have an intense conversation, something that you really are trying to sort things out, and your kids just coming in and keep having these issues that they have a conflict with their sibling. They can't figure out like share this Lego piece. They're both arguing about it, right? Which seems so insignificant compared to the conversation you're having with your husband. Whatever it is, fill in the blank. You know exactly what I'm talking about when your brain wants to focus on something and feels like it is something really important, and then your kids come in and they need you for one reason or another, and you feel extremely triggered and angry and frustrated that they are interrupting you doing what you wanted to do. So why do we feel triggered? We need to understand, why do we feel triggered when we're doing something and then our kid's coming in? So one of it is just like the way our brain is wired. When we are trying to focus on something, it's really hard to focus on something, do something new. Let's say you're cooking a new recipe and you are looking at the recipe, you're trying to measure things out, and then you have a kiddo that's melting down and throwing a fit or having a hard time, or you have a kiddo that ran out the house. I have a toddler that runs out sometimes, and you have to like pause everything and go run after her and grab her. Whatever it might be, like you're trying to focus on something and then you're being pulled away from it. And it's hard for our brain because our brain is not really wired to focus on multiple things at once. It's hard for our brain, especially for some people more than others. And so that is one of the reasons that we are triggered. The other reason is why we feel triggered. It is our mindset. We talk about mindset quite a bit on this podcast. Mindset is the thoughts that you think, and the thoughts that you think lead to the feelings that you feel, and the feelings that you feel lead to the actions that you take, and the actions that you take lead to the results that you get, okay? So when the Bible talks that we need to guard our heart, it talks about our mind. We need to guard our mind, what we are choosing to think. We have 60,000 thoughts a day. 80% of our thoughts are negative. Automatically, they're just negative. They just come in, and 90% of them are repetitive. You need to intentionally choose helpful, empowering thoughts if you want to respond in a better way. My friend, if this is something that resonates with you and you notice that you're constantly feeling really negative and you are negatively reacting with your kids, you have a lot of negative thoughts about your kids, about your husband, I can help you. My coaching program touches on this a lot. In my 12-week coaching program, we work on this quite a bit. We work on your mindset, how to catch your negative thoughts and redirect them to empowering, hopeful thoughts that are supporting you and that are life-giving, that help you feel empowered in the circumstance instead of feeling helpless. So the thoughts that we think, let's say when our kids are interrupting us, they always do this to me. My needs don't matter. These are negative thoughts. I need to stop doing what I'm doing so I can help them. I need to go resolve this issue. I need to solve this conflict with her siblings. I need to go run out and catch them because they ran on the street, right? I have to stop. All those thoughts are contributing to us feeling powerless and out of control. And they feel us like we feel helpless in the circumstance, and then that contributes to us feeling angry. So anger is the flip side of helplessness. When you feel helpless, you feel angry. And these thoughts that you're thinking, they never let me do this. They always interrupt me. I can never focus. They make me stop. All of those thoughts are from a victim mentality perspective. Victim mentality is a victim perspective where you blame, complain, and justify. You blame others for your actions. You complain that others won't let you do this, X, Y, Z, and then you justify your negative reactions that your kids made you do this. And you don't take ownership for yourself and your own actions. You just blame it on other people, that it's their fault that you are reacting in this way. So if you resonate with this, you will know what I'm talking about. If you ever said, my kids made me yell, my kids won't let me. By the way, that's a huge victim mentality that I'm still working through. My kids won't let me focus. My kids won't let me work. It's a huge one that I had to work through, and I'm still working through. Like, my coach had to really help me through this one because, like, my kids won't let me. it's humongous one that keeps coming up for me that I have to constantly redirect. And I'll teach you thoughts that will be supportive and empowering. But this takes work. It's not an overnight thing. And this is the kind of work you and I do together in our coaching program. We pick a scenario that's triggering for you. We walk you through it, and I teach you what to do differently and how to shift your thoughts to feel more empowered. So my question for you is, how do you normally respond? What do you normally say to your kids when you are focused on something and they come to you and they interrupt you? Here's some phrases that I would say that are not great. They're not helpful in the sense that I don't really like how they sound, and I don't want my kids repeating that to each other or saying it to their kids later on. Get out of here. Leave me alone. I don't want to see you right now. I'm busy. I'm unavailable. And I just don't like how any of them sound. They're not necessarily like mean, but they're just not really kind. And it's not who I want to be, and it's not the way that I want to handle the circumstance with my kids. So I also want to ask you, how do you feel afterwards about yourself as a mom when you don't handle interruptions in a way that are aligned with who you want to be? How do you feel about yourself as a mom? Well, I personally feel pretty crummy. I really don't like how I handle the circumstance, and I just feel bad, and I just especially feel guilt about how I teach my mamas to handle things in a better way, and then I don't do it like 100% of the time in the way that I really feel proud of. And so for me, I just feel really crummy and guilty because there are times that I can handle it in a better way, and I just don't. And one of the things that I want you to know, that when your stress levels are high, when you are burned out and you are at your max capacity, you will notice 100% of the time that the way that you handle interruptions are much worse than if you are doing pretty good mentally, emotionally, and you're in a good place. And I have a really, really good training for you that will be extremely helpful. It is called How to 10x Your Emotional Capacity Levels. You can either purchase it for $27 if you scroll down to the link in the show notes, or what you can do is leave me a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcast and take a screenshot and then email it to me, hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. And when you email it to me, I will give you a coupon code where you can get that training completely for free. And the training is how to 10x your emotional capacity levels as a mom. Because when you are on low capacity, when you reached your capacity in the sense like you cannot handle more, you will react when your kids are interrupting you. When you have more capacity and you're in a better place mentally and emotionally, you will be able to respond in a way that really aligns with who you want to be as a mom. You're going to have so much more capacity to handle it in a better way. And I will still teach you tools, because you still need tools. Like in this podcast episode, I'll teach you what to do really. And you still need to have the capacity to do it, because if you're just run down, you're constantly exhausted, you have unmet needs, and you are just running on empty, you will have a hard time implementing what I'm going to teach you today. All right. And so that training is going to be really helpful for you to realize, why am I overreacting and what can I do to make changes? And there's a lot of practical implication in that training. All right. So what can you do differently to respond in a gentle way that you are proud of? There is a Bible verse that I want to bring in today. It's 1 Corinthians 13:4. Love is patient, love is kind. We need to be kind to our children. We need to be patient with our children. God calls us to be, right? We love our kids. We want to be kind. We want to be patient because it feels good when we're kind and patient. And sometimes that feels so hard. And that's what I'm here for. And this is why this podcast exists, to help you and support you on this journey. So what does it look like to be a patient and kind mom when your kids are interrupting you, when you're being focused on something else? Practically speaking, what does that look like? If you haven't heard me mention this phrase yet, I got it from the book Triggers by Wendy Speak and Amber Leah. And it says, figure out what you mean to say before you say something mean. You need to figure out ahead of time what you're going to say to your kids, how you're going to handle the circumstance before the stressful and triggering moment comes. So step one is, first of all, you need to teach your kids proactively before you have moments where you need to do something focused, what to do when you are unavailable, when you're busy. Because the truth is, it's not that the truth is, the world does not revolve around our kids. There are times where you are unavailable, when you are busy, and they need to learn to respect that. That's my perspective and belief on it. And when are they allowed to come to you? What is an emergency? What does that look like? When are they allowed to come to you? And then when they do come to you, how do they ask for help? Let's say if I'm working and my office doors are closed, what do they need to do? They need to knock first. If I'm talking to a friend, what do they need to do? They need to put their hand on my hand. That means I see them and I will get to them as soon as I'm available. I know that they need to say something to me and I will respond to them when I am available. Kids don't just have these skills out of the blue. They're not born with it. We need to teach them what to do. They're not born learning or knowing that interrupting is disrespectful. They just don't know that. We need to teach that to them, just like we need to teach them how to read over and over and over and over and over again, or how to manage their big emotions over and over and over again. Same thing, you need to teach them how to handle things when you are busy over and over again in a way that you are feels aligned with the kind of mom you want to be, and you're teaching them the skills of what they can do. For example, one of the biggest things that was my interruption was when I was working, and my 6-year-old at that time, he would come to me and he would, I just fed them. It's quiet time. We had lunch and they have quiet time. And then after an hour, the kids have screen time and the baby's napping at that time. And he would come to me 10, 15 minutes in, and he's like, I'm hungry. I want a snack. And I would feel so triggered that he would come and ask me for a snack. First of all, I just fed you. You shouldn't be hungry. At least that's what my mind says. The second thing is, you know what snacks you can eat, or at least I think you do, right? And then when I was coaching with my coach through this, and she says, in your family, she's like, did you train your kids to come and ask you when they want to eat something, to ask you, what can I eat? What snack can I have? As I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, that's the way things are in our family. They don't just go and grab things, whatever they want to in the kitchen. We kind of train them since little kids, that they ask if they can eat something, or, hey, can I have a snack? Because they would just snack all day long and never have a meal. That's the way my kids would be. And so we train them that they need to ask for permission to get a snack. And so it makes sense that he would come to me and ask for a snack because that's what I trained him to do. Right? And so that was really eye-opening for me. It helped me understand that he's doing really what I asked him to do. And it's on me to teach him to do something different. It's on me to have snacks that he can eat, set them out on the table when I am in my work mode. Right? And so this is just an example with my son. So step one is proactively teaching your kids what they can do when you are busy and when you are either working or focused on something, when you're unavailable. What can they do? And when are they allowed to come to you? And when they are coming to you, how do they come to you and how do they ask for help? Number 2 is lowering your expectations to their age level. I would say, based on experience as a mom, 7 and under is with like healthy kids that are developing normally, they will keep coming to you. Even like you need to keep training them over and over and over and over again. I would say after 7 years old, that's when I noticed that I am so sorry. I just keep yawning. After 7 years old, that's when I noticed that my boys, they're more independent in the sense that they don't need me as much. They can take care of themselves more. And they understand it, just like something clicks more in their brain that mom is busy, she's unavailable, she's on the phone, or she's doing something else, and she can't respond right now. And I need to go figure this out on my own. So I would say if it's under 7, I would really lower your expectations and tell yourself this is normal. This is my chance to teach. We'll talk about mindset here in just a second. This is normal for their age, and I can still teach them to do things differently. Like lowering your expectations and expecting that they will come to you and they will interrupt you probably is going to help you feel less triggered. Number 3, having a plan how you will handle it. And this is something I learned from my coach, and I actually incorporate this in my coaching program as well. It is vision writing. You're writing out ahead of time what you're going to say, what you're going to think, what you're going to do, how you're going to positively handle a circumstance before it happens. And you pick a circumstance that is a triggering circumstance for you over and over again. So let's say for me, it's when my kids come to me and they need me and I am interrupted. And that is a triggering circumstance. And so how am I going to handle it in a positive way? And you write it in present tense. So I'll give you a scenario. So first, I write out on my piece of paper, I write out my I am statement. I am approachable when my kids need me. I choose to pause before I respond. I ask great questions, and I approach circumstances with curiosity. And so then I write a question. What does it look like when my kids need me and I am working or focused on something? And then I write out a positive response, how I am handling it in present tense. I'm teaching my brain and rehearsing in my mind, what am I going to say and do when this scenario comes up? When I am working or doing something focused and my kids come to me and ask something, I will look up at them and smile. I extend my welcoming hand and say, how can I help you? When my son tells me that he's hungry, I will say, is this a problem you can solve on your own? Yes, please go do that. There are snacks on the table. You can go eat a fruit or a vegetable that is set out on the table. Also, I ask, is this an emergency? He says no. So I tell him to wait until I'm done working. I feel calm and unbothered. I remind myself this will only take a minute. I can make time for this. I feel good about how I handle the circumstance. I feel grateful that I am available to be there for my kids. So this is an example of me writing out that vision about how I am handling it in a positive way. And this is something I actually have you do in my coaching program. We pick a triggering scenario. We first form an I am statement, what kind of mom that you want to be. You know you don't want to yell. You know you don't want to scream. You know that you don't want to be angry, reactive, frustrated, overwhelmed. But what kind of mom do you want to be? How do you want to show up? We create a vision statement or like an I am statement. And then one of the things that we practice is we pick a triggering scenario that really triggers you and upsets you. And then you write out an I am statement, and then you write out the vision, how you're handling it in a positive way in present tense as if it's happening right now. This is how you retrain your brain to do things in a positive way. Okay? So also, you need to know positive mindset swaps in the moment, what you're going to think. So this is step 4. How are you going to shift your mind? And the scenario that I just wrote out to you, you will see that I wrote down, I'm choosing to think these thoughts. I am choosing to think that I have time for this. I can make time for this. Here's some positive swaps when your brain says, I don't have time for this. This is wasting my time. Those are the 2 thoughts that I come in. Like, seriously, he's doing this. This is wasting my time. I don't have time for this. So you shift your mind and you say, I have time for this. This will only take a minute. This is my chance to be approachable, because that's in my I am statement is approachable. This is my chance to teach my kids boundaries. My kiddo is more important than work. let's say your kid comes in because he's crying because he got hurt. My kiddo is more important than work. This is more important. My child is more important. I choose to pause instead of interrupt, because interruption for me, that's such a trigger word. When I think to myself, my kids are interrupting me, it's such a massive trigger word. Like, it just triggers me to the core. Versus I choose to pause. I choose to pause what I'm working on to help with my kids with whatever they need help with. I choose to pause. And I want to share with you a positive example that just happened recently. So I have a new client that recently started working with me, and she's got 2 young kids. And one of the things that kept triggering her, and I was talking with her, what is something that really triggers you? Because we were going to do vision writing with it. And she says, I have this thing that happens almost every single day. And we get in the car to take my son to preschool, and my 2-year-old wants to buckle herself. And I just don't want to spend the time doing that. I just force her in that car seat and I buckle her. And just because it takes forever for her to buckle herself and she's fighting it, and I feel so frustrated and I just hate the way that I handle it. And I just want to do things differently. I want to respond in a better way. And so we walked through this. We talked about mindset shifts. Like, I can make time for this. I can wait. I can let her buckle. I have time for this. Because realistically, she did have time for it. She would come to her preschool 15 minutes early. She had time for an extra minute for her daughter to buckle herself and allow her daughter to have that space and that little self-control that her daughter is trying to, get a grasp on, because toddlers want to have control. They honestly don't have much control over a lot of things in their day. And so they will try to fight control in everything. Some toddlers more than others. Believe me, I know. I have a 3-year-old right now that tries to fight me in everything. And so this is normal for them to want to buckle themselves. I can wait. And so I had her write a vision about how she's handling this. When they come up to the car, what does it look like for me to leave the house, take my kids to preschool in the morning, and when my daughter wants to buckle herself? And she wrote out a vision, how she's handling it in a positive way, the thoughts that she's choosing to think, how she's feeling about her daughter, how she's handling it. And literally she's like week 1 into my coaching program. And we were like, I asked her, I'm like, how was your weekend? Like, how did it go with the kids with you doing the vision writing? And then her husband was out of town and she was with her kids the whole weekend. And I had her do vision writing about how she spends her time with the kids, how she handles herself and shows up as a mom. And she's like, oh my gosh, things went so much better. Like, I chose to let her buckle, and I chose to wait and tell myself, I have time for this. I can make time for this. And she did it herself. She felt so proud of it. And I felt so good about how I handled it without forcing her and just pushing her in, buckling her, and just handled in a much better way, and feeling so good about the way that you show up as a mom, instead of feeling so frustrated and angry and annoyed and agitated when you get yourself in the car and when you pull up to the school and you have a screaming toddler in the back, right? Obviously, there's a time and a place where you just need to buckle them, but there are times where you can wait. You can choose to wait. You can choose to adapt. You can choose to do things differently, right? And so this vision writing is so valuable and important. And this is something we work on in my coaching program. This is something I do, and this is something I teach you to do, because it is so powerful and it's so transformational. And then step 5 is something I want you to remember is really try to save the focus things that you really need to do, something that's super important and focused when someone else can be with your kids. For example, when your husband is home and you can communicate, hey, I really need to make an important phone call. Can you please be with the kids? When you can have either a swap with a neighbor or a friend where she watches your kids and you watch her kids another day. Maybe when the kids are at grandma's house, maybe the kids are with a sitter, maybe when the kids are napping, or and you turn on some screens for them. Try to do something, when you need to do really focused things, to do it when your kids are either with someone else that can attend to them, or they are napping and they're not going to come to you, because it is hard for our brain. It is hard for our brain when we are being pulled away and we need to focus on something. I cannot imagine. I just know some moms that they go to college They're like going through nursing school with toddlers. And like, I just feel overwhelmed thinking about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, I am so impressed how you can do this. And I just know that I would not handle it well. I would have such a hard time because in order for me to get good grades in school, I had to study a lot, like a lot. I had good grades, but I studied a lot to get them, like hours and hours and hours of focused study. And so I would not be able to do it with my kids. Like I just would not be able to get decent grades and be a mom with little ones. And so I just know those limits about myself. And knowing that about yourself, you can be like, okay, how can I support myself? What can I do? How can I delegate, simplify? How can I ask for help? And this is examples where you would ask for help for someone else to help you with your kids. Okay. Also recognizing this season is going to pass. Your kids are going to grow up. They're not going to need you all the time. I have a 12-and-a-half-year-old. He doesn't come to me like this. He doesn't need me all the time. He's more than happy to be in his room by himself. Like, this time passes. And so just remember that this season is going to pass. So the 5 steps is proactively teaching your kids what to do when you are busy and unavailable. Number 2 is lowering your expectations that young kids will come to you and interrupt you even when you teach them. And when you expect that they will come to you, you will feel differently. Okay, versus expectation that I'm expecting them not to come to me, and then you will feel more triggered. Number 3 is having a plan how you're going to handle it in a positive way. Write out your vision, what you're going to do, say, what you're going to think when your kids are coming to you. Because they still will, okay, even though you teach them. Because you need to have expectations of yourself. Yes, you have the expectation on your kids for them to stay busy and not come to you. Well, what happens when they don't? They're going to come to you. What are you going to do? Because you're only responsible for yourself. Number 4 is what are some mindset shifts that you can choose in the moment that are really supportive for you? I can make time for this. This will only take a minute. This is my chance to be approachable. My kid is more important than XYZ. I choose to pause. Is this like the mindset shift that you will choose to think? So these are some examples. And step 5 is save the focus stuff when someone else can be with your kids and take over. I know it's not always a possibility. So how can you adjust the times when you are doing something focused, when your kids are either napping or like busy with something else, like maybe they are on screens? Because for me personally, that's when my kids are home and I have a coaching call. Typically my boys are on screens, because very low chances they will come and need me, versus if they are just staying in their rooms and reading a book and they get bored or they get into an argument with one another. So just something to keep in mind to be strategic about that. I hope you found this podcast episode helpful, and these are the things that just been helping me. And this is something I still intentionally work on. This is still a big trigger for me. It's less triggering than it was in the past. And this is something I'm still intentionally working through. The 2 big triggers for me is time pressure. Again, that's some stuff with time and being interrupted, feeling like my kids are taking my time, wasting my time, feeling like thinking my thoughts, negative automatic thoughts, that I don't have time for this. It's like the whole thing with time. I tell you, I have like a whole thing with time. And so I'm working through this, working intentionally through this. My friend, if this is something that you found really helpful, and you're ready to do this kind of work on yourself, you're ready to make changes, you find yourself constantly reacting with your kids, yelling, screaming, reacting in anger, and you hate the way that you show up as a mom, my friend, there's hope for you and you can change. I have a step-by-step process for you. I have a coaching program designed just for this, for you. If you feel triggered and reactive and angry constantly and you want to change your ways, you can change. God can help you through that, and I'm here to walk you along the way and give you a step-by-step process. And so reach out to me. The next step for you to connect with me is to book a consultation call. If you scroll in the show notes, there's a button there, or there's a link there that says book a free consultation call. When you book that call, you and I get on the call and we talk about where you are at right now. What have you tried that hasn't worked? Like, why do you think it hasn't worked? Why do you want to make these changes right now? And if you're ready to make changes today, to enroll in the coaching program today, I want you to take the next step, to join my coaching program. I just had a few moms that just finished the coaching program, so I have a few spots available, and it's there. It's waiting for you. My friend, I'm praying over you. If this is something that you need, something that really, really resonates with you, something that you are ready to make changes, like, this is your time. This is your time. Your kids need a mom who's calm and patient and loving and kind and lighthearted and present. Your kids deserve a mom like that. And I know this is who you want to be. You have nothing to lose. If you join my coaching program and if you show up for 12 weeks and you do the work and you don't see positive changes in your life, I will give you a full refund at week 12. You need to show up and do the work though. This program is for the mom that's ready to do something different, who's ready to make changes. It is scary. It does feel a little scared. It does feel a little scary to make these changes, to enroll into the unknown. I promise you, you're going to see positive changes. I have a guarantee. I have a guarantee that this program works. Everyone that has enrolled in it, everyone that went through it, everyone saw positive changes in their life, and so will you. It is impossible for you to come to the coaching calls, to watch the trainings, to do the homework assignments, to be part of this community and not see positive changes. It's just impossible. God is going to do the work in you, and I am here to support you every step of the way. So if you're ready for this, I'm here to help you. Book a consultation call. This is just a conversation between you and me and how I can help you and support you on this journey. And if you are a good fit for my program, I will invite you in and you will get access to week 1 right away of the coaching program. And you and I will schedule your first one-on-one coaching call and we will work on this together. My friend, I cannot wait to connect with you. And until next time. Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom, even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.